It's Cowboy Jim up here in Fort Mac, and I study my YouTube channel and to ascertain the significance of a title, and it is significant. If you have a title that sounds too religious, people won't watch it. But if you have a title well, the hottest title so far is abuse and the evil of those who do abuse. And I was thinking of that in light of, well, the number of stories that came as a result of that idiot who abused me, and my stupidity of being so stoned on whatever he was placing in my food, and I just kind of went along for the ride, and that's truly unfortunate. But anyways, I was thinking, uh, just do well. I could probably do 20 stories, videos on what he attempted to do. With everything that I was and had and all those things. And the one thing that stands out in my clarity, because the further you get away from the the drugs, I wished I'd gone to be drug tested today, but I just never thought of it, and no one believed anything I said, anyways. And but the one thing that I do remember clearly was I managed to get my hand crushed a little bit uh, in the bus door at work, but it was decidedly stupid if you went on compensation because they only pay about 450 a week compared to two or 2,500 a week if you're working. And my hand was not damaged terribly. I did ask for a trip into the X-ray machine, and good people at that company that I worked for, and we went and had X-rays, and um, I I have had the joy of learning how to read an X-ray, and it's not that difficult. Wouldn't make a living at it, I guarantee you that, but basic X-rays. And the surgeon that day, he was a wonderful character and a safety guy from work. He took me in, and the surgeon, he was just fun. And he said, Jim, how did you mush your hand? And I said, well, here's a bit of a problem I have. And he said, yeah. I said, can you tell a fresh break from an old break? I smiled at him, and he smiled at me. He says, well, Jim, I have a hard time with that. I said, well, I do too. I said, my hand's pretty sore. I did injure it, but I'm not sure. You referred to my broken hand, right hand, as being mush. And I said, how many broken bones are in that little inch and a half area just south of my wrist? And he said, well, let's look. And so he turned the X-ray on, and I thought, thank you, thank you. And I got to 9 broken bones in that inch and a half area of my wrist, just below the wrist, and then X-ray type lady came in and she shut the machine off, and I was convinced that I was looking at the 10th broken bone, and I said, well, uh, I I don't I don't mind pain a little. And he said, well, do you want anything for pain? I said, no, I don't. No. I said, if I take anything for pain, I can't work. I mean, T3s, perks. Hey, I said perks. I just hate those things. Like they are too strong and they do weird stuff to me. And I said, I won't use them. And man, I said, plenty of T3s. I mean, I did. I mean, when you have been through as much as I have, had, well, 15 major surgeries that required anesthetic, and I mean a few that they just froze the body parts and stuff like that. And so that doctor and I, we had so much fun. And I mean, he was such a jewel, and he was a good man. And so I, I assured him I wouldn't use perks anyways, and I was okay with T3s. I wouldn't use them either. And so, anyways, um, I went home to where I was living in the apartment with that abuser, and I could say his name. I mean, but what value is that? Um, it's really not. And because an abuser will abuse until he realizes that he is being watched, and perhaps someone else is being abused by that same guy, and they were so smooth. I mean, that lady being a psychiatric nurse, she is a psycho, I think, anyways, and or idiot dozer uh, guy. Anyways, perhaps someone's life could be saved by my doing these YouTube videos. I hope. And but anyways, um, the next day, that abuser he got right in my face. We lived in the same apartment, so he said, "You broke your hand?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Badly?" I said, "Well, there are 9 or 10 breaks altogether, but it's nothing." He said, "You didn't get anything for pain?" He said, "What did they give you for pain?" I said, "I don't take stuff for pain. Give it a day or 2 or 3, and usually it feels better eventually. And I don't dwell on pain. Um, I mean, if I did, well, would I be in trouble? I mean, really." And anyways, that evil, probably demonic, definitely demon influenced, possibly demon possessed abuser, he said, "We're going to the hospital." This was the next day. "We're going to the hospital." And he said, "You're going to tell that surgeon that you lied to him." And I looked at him and I thought, you're pushing me pretty hard here. But I was still being drugged. I was still stoned on whatever it was, and I actually thought I was just losing my mind. And anyways, he said, "We're going back to that hospital, and you're going to tell that doctor that you need perks." And I thought, you dummy, you evil jerk. And so the thing that was quite interesting is he insisted on going in with me to speak with the doctor. And the good thing was the doctor was standing straight across from me, and that fatherless child, that works. There's a word for that. He was standing behind me and he could not see my expression. And so I told the doctor, I said, I have a fair bit of pain. I could probably use some pills. And I smiled at him. He smiled at me. He said to the abuser, "Don't you just love Jim? Isn't Jim just something special?" Well, the abuser thought so too, because all he wanted was everything that I had was everything. And he went out of his way to destroy my reputation and ruin in every way possible everything that I had hoped and dreamt of. And that included uh, uh, more than you might imagine. And, anyways, doctor said, Jim, what would you like for pain? I looked at him, and we did this serious eye contact, and I smiled at him. I said, "What do you think about perks?" He said, "No, Jim." I mean, it wasn't rocket science. I'd already told him the day before I wasn't going to do anything to do with perks. I had them once, pretty bad surgery, and I guess the best ever I had was when the big German mare kicked me, and she had tagged my left arm, put a little hairline crack from the shoulder to the elbow, and ate ribs and slapped me on the side of the head, which could be why I am the way I am, and also ruptured my spleen. Anyways, then they put me on morphine. Whoa, whoa, that stuff is good stuff. If you're in pain, morphine's real cool. And but anyways, the surgeon and I we smiled at each other, and he said, "Not giving you perks." He said, "You want some T3s?" I said, "Nah, nah." And the abuser, standing directly behind me, he could not see my expression. And that doctor and I, we had it together, but I was still too stoned on whatever he was giving me from his psychiatric nurse, from their psychiatrist type friend. And all they wanted was for me to give them power of attorney so they could take over my life and destroy my life. And they destroyed a relationship that to me looked like it was going to grow. And I mean, uh, so I've had my heart broken a few times, too many, four actually, and and uh, and we leave that alone. And so, anyways, I I so enjoyed that doctor, and he and I we talked about the Lord, and he was a brother, he was a believer. I don't even know what religion he was. Doesn't really matter. If you love the Lord, you're a whole lot further down the road than being a member of this church or that religion in some other religion. Just nonsense. But if anyone up here in Fort Mac, everyone is quite familiar with this story about the abusers. It's just that they didn't believe me at the time, but given the miraculous healing that took place and 6 to 9 months of flashbacks, and I'm back to my normal self. Could be a little problematic. Who knows? My sense of humor's come back, and that's good. And uh, a lady gave me my photo album back. Only took 2 years, and I've spent the winter. And I talked to the Lord. I said, I'd sure like you to judge me and judge the abuser and judge the abuser's wife and what their wife, that's a euphemism, uh, convenient partner is probably more apt. And I said, you have declared in your word, God, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And I said, I have never been afraid to fall before you, God, and ask you to judge me in light of what someone else has done to me. And so I fully anticipate that God is going to judge and his judgment will be perfect. And God has always brought me out on the good side. I think it's because I try to be on the good side. I try to think more of others than I do of myself. So, listen, if you know of, well, I am, it grieves my spirit to use this, uh, but I'm 73. So if I can't start soon referring to myself as someone, shall we say, elderly, which I don't believe I am. I'm still as strong as I was when I was 40 and still exercise and all that stuff. But if you know of someone and you watch them when they're elderly or even before, when you see them change diametrically, when you see them just lose who and what they are, get to know them a little bit. Find out who's messing with them. Find out who, as that couple said, we'll take care of you for the rest of your life. You just have to give us power of attorney over you and get you booked into a mental institution because they said you're crazy, eh? Well, I was crazy. I had lost my cotton picking mind because of the drugs that they were giving me, that they got. She was a nurse, remember? Pills go missing. And I was not myself. I mean, I remember the woman who said, "You must be Cowboy Jim," and I looked at her and I thought, "Woman, you can call me anything you want." And she said, "Boy, do you know how to talk to a woman?" Well, I did, and then I got drugged, and then I got changed, and then I lost my mind, and she left. And I do not blame her because I was changed. That's what evil will do to you. Drugs and all that satanic crap. Anyways, God bless you. Let's see how this does. And I will work diligently at coming up with a title that will catch some people's eye. So God bless you. You all have a good day. And I'm getting ready to go back to work tomorrow night. I am going to try diligently to make one video a day. Oh, dear Lord. Boy, I'm telling you, you work 12 hours, travel an hour each way on the bus. Uh, I'm going to try to do it anyways. God bless. Say, y'all have a good day now. God bless.